And I just start by clapping, and that's it.
Perfect.
Then we go. You ready?
Yes.
Awesome. Sir. What's up, everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Ola. Today with Lzzy Hale of the band Halestorm.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, Ola, for having me. Seriously, this is awesome.
Pure pleasure. It's Sunday morning.
It is.
How is it? I mean,
Good morning.
Did you fly in from the US to here?
We did, but we've been on tour for about a week and a half now.
Okay, so you're like jet lag is
no,
fine.
I'm pretty acclimated.
Okay.
Something that that I've been trying to do, because it used to be in the beginning of touring, it used to be you tour and then that's real life. And then you go home and home is vacation. But now it's tour is real life and then home is time to catch up on all of the work that you didn't get done. So now what we end up doing is, for some of us, in the band, we end up trying to fly early.
Okay.
So to wherever we're going. So this time we were starting in Frankfurt, but I ended up going to Nice, France for a couple days.
Okay. Nice.
Before tour to be like acclimated and just kind of chill out with a new time zone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm set.
Awesome. Like I said and mentioned to you earlier, a lot of the bigger audience on my channel is very metal-oriented. They're guitar players. They're also home recording guitar players. So
Nice.
I'm very focused into like home producing and stuff like
that's
that,
amazing.
and metal. So could you please tell me a little bit about yourself and like in a presentative way to this potential new audience?
Yes, of course. Well, thank you so much for giving me the chance. I'm Lzzy Hale. I'm from Halestorm, obviously, and been in this band longer than I haven't been in the band. Started it with my little brother when I was 13, and that was in 1997, so if you guys are good at math, you can do that for me. Been about 26 years or something now, and haven't stopped. It's still kind of the same. We're still just as immature as we always have been.
Yeah. That has to be so uncommon that you're still in your first band and touring with this
It's really
first band.
weird. Well, it's funny, we've been talking about that a lot lately because we've also been the same four members for over 20 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, because I met Joe and Josh in 2003, so it's been like we haven't murdered each other yet, which is probably one of our biggest accomplishments. But a little background on my influences. So even though I was born in '83, I was a teenager in the '90s, but I was a little late to the grunge scene. I was very much into Ronnie James Dio and Alice Cooper and Deep Purple and like a lot of my dad's foundation of music. To the point that I figured out that I was weird at a very young age. I was a very odd girl, specifically because just all of my female friends when I was growing up, they either liked Britney Spears or the Backstreet Boys and all of those things. And I'm like, no, but you have to listen to Black Sabbath. And they're like, no, that's old. Why are you listening to that? So I've always been about 10 years behind with my interest in music. I still wear that very much on my sleeve, but I definitely subscribe to the idea that if it's good, it's good. So now I listen to so much. Like, there's absolutely amazing metal bands out there, and there are metal bands that absolutely suck.
Yes.
Same thing with hard rock,
Absolutely.
same thing with pop, doesn't matter. So I always feel like if it moves you, it moves you. So I appreciate you guys giving me the chance. I think, so are you familiar with the band Avatar?
Absolutely.
I love them so much. They're one of my favorite...
Swedish band.
Yes, one of my favorite bands. And obviously from here, you guys breed metal, obviously. But
it's cold here in the winter.
Yeah, you got to do something to warm up.
Yep.
But Johannes, I think, said it best because we've done some collaborations and been on tour together. And he always said, he's like, well, Avatar is a metal band that leans hard rock. And then Halestorm is a hard rock band that sometimes dips its toe and leans in metal.
Yes.
That's something that's kind of new for us over the past, pretty much since we got the Grammy. It's been, well, what are they? Because we won the Grammy for Best Hard Rock / Metal Performance.
Yes.
So everyone's like, are they hard rock? Are they metal? Then some of our songs have obviously a kind of cheese factor, a pop sensibility to them. So we're not even really sure what we are, but you guys are gonna have to find that out.
Well,
it's whatever we are to you, that's what it is.
Absolutely. But when I've seen clips with you, and when you pick up the guitar in like an interview or something, like you always play metal riffs.
I know. It's terrible.
No, it's great because it's you see it and like, okay, it's almost sometimes it sounds a little harder than Halestorm when you're like, oh, I'm just going to sit and play a couple riffs.
Yeah.
And so I know there's metal in you.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of metal in
there's
you.
metal in me, and there's a. I was trying to think about this the other day as well, because I've been talking to some guitar players about, you know, the idea that it is so important, and I don't know whether anybody listening or watching is feeling this right now, especially if you're at home and you don't really have a sounding board for like, am I good? Am I not? You know, it's like, I think that a lot of us judge ourselves against other people.
Absolutely.
And what I'm starting to realize just now, you know, after just turning 40, you know, after being alive for 4 decades, I've discovered that that is not important at all, to judge yourself against somebody else, because what I realized about myself, something unique to me, is that I was a singer first, and then I started on piano, and then I picked up the guitar, kind of out of default. We lost our first guitar player. After like 8 months, he was in the band, and then he was like, he left the band. I was distraught 16-year-old, and I picked it up. But my approach to it is always, it's weird, because if I'm on the piano, I am rhythmic with my left hand, and I lead with my right.
Right.
And then if I'm on the guitar, it's the opposite.
Yes.
But then when I'm writing a riff, or when I'm writing a melodic part or a lead, I will depend on my ear and my vocal. So I'll write it with my voice first and then figure out how to play it. So it's very strange, but I grew up thinking, and especially throughout my early 20s and early 30s, I was thinking, well, I'm somehow wrong, because there's nobody that I know that has done it in that way. Whereas then I realized later that, no, that's just what makes me myself.
Yes.
Someone I actually had this conversation with was Jared James Nichols, who I heard you were hanging out with.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I love that man, and you know, he went through the same thing, where it's like he plays in a very unique way, and has owned his. He's an incredible player, one of the greatest players of all time, of our generation. I'm saying it now; it is on the record. But he very much owns his weird, you know, and owns what makes him unique. So
you think it took? You're saying it took almost 40 years before you, because this is obviously, you compare yourself to others. You have this like imposter syndrome thing, and it took almost 40 years. But like, has this really been is the imposter syndrome? Is that has that been like a driving force for you to?
Yeah.
And your band, like, I mean, I feel on my part, you know, I'm a YouTuber. A lot of people watch me, and you know, sometimes, you know, I do what I do. I play in bands, and people are, they don't always have the best opinion of YouTubers. They're kind of like a quick to fame kind of people, and maybe don't deserve everything. And so I obviously also have a little bit of imposter syndrome. What the hell am I doing sometimes? You know, you compare yourself to others and all that.
It still happens. I was on stage the other night on this specific tour where we're headlining. These are sold out shows, and I'm on stage, and I just said this to the audience. I'm like, it's so wild to me to think that, you know, I'm doing this. I got into this business when I was whatever. I got bit by the bug at 13. No idea what I'm doing. Still don't. You know, could barely play my instruments. Didn't know how to write a song. Didn't have a rich uncle in the business. Didn't do it. And for some reason, we're pulling it off. You know, and it's still happening, and it's still growing, and people still care. The fact that people even do care is incredible to me. So you get to a certain point where, for me, it's more about letting go of a lot of that stuff, or letting go of the, understanding that it's not egotistical to say, I deserve this. And somebody actually enlightened me to this interesting perspective to look at this. The definition of luck is the combination of preparation and opportunity. So when those two things meet, that is the very definition of luck. So when you say I'm lucky, you know, to be here, you shouldn't be thinking about that in a disparaging way, like, oh, I'm lucky, like somebody gave me a chance. Yes, that is true. But when someone gave you the chance, you were ready for it because you worked really hard to be ready for it. So I think, yes, it's a driving factor for us. It still is. And I hope I never lose that, because I don't think you there's no reason to go the other way and be like, I am
No,
the
no.
best thing of all
Exactly.
time and I deserve to be here. So it's a grand balance of things, but understanding who you are, even with your limitations, understanding what you're not, is almost just as important as understanding who you are, and just be that. And I always go by the desert island, idea.
Yes.
Like, if I was the only person on a desert island with a guitar, what would I sound like? Probably exactly what I'm doing, and, because there's nobody around to impress. What am I doing to have fun with myself? Anybody just picking up an instrument or just learning how to sing or whatever it is, you make a noise until you like the noise you make, and then keep making that noise. It's that simple and that complicated.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah.
Thank you so much. So, I mean, I know we're talking about this, but there's a thing that you have over there that's kind of...
Yeah.
It's looking at me,
It's staring
and I kind of want to pick
longingly.
it up. Is it okay if I pick it up?
Yes, please pick it
All
up. Drum roll.
The reason why it's speaking to me is because this is a shape that I'm very fond of.
Yeah.
What is this? Can you please tell us about this?
And this is actually the first time ever I'm talking about this. So this is my brand new signature model Kramer. And it's a Voyager, and we basically made a guitar that if I was in a band in 1987 with some spandex, what would it be? And so we've been working really hard on this, and to me, this is the equivalent of a screamer.
Yes.
No,
I can see it.
Yeah. So I got the Kramer 85T humbucker pickup, one knob. Obviously the Floyd Rose locking system, and this is something that I've never had on a signature guitar before. Is the whammy bar.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a lot of fun to play around with that and just have something that I'm able to be a little reckless with. As in, you don't really have to think about this. You literally volume knob, turn it up, it's on. Everything stays in place.
You have to be careful with these horns, though.
Okay,
so you can't be too reckless.
That you can't. Well, yeah, because that's the problem. So, because I will be on stage.
I don't want to let it go.
Oh, see, already did it. I will be on stage. Let me just put this.
Yes.
Sorry, see, it's awkward. And I will hit my guitar player in the shins with it, But yeah, it's amazing. We got the Black Diamond Sparkle, which is holographic. We were trying to get the actual holographic paint from the 80s. And apparently, hard to find. Also, kind of dangerous for your health.
Okay,
apparently
yeah.
It's like some.
There's probably a reason why they stopped.
Yeah, there's a reason why they stopped doing that. But I just think this is absolutely beautiful.
It is.
It's a alder wood body, which... for all of you nerds, if you want to know where the trees come from, it's actually in between. It's northwest United States, in between California and Alaska.
Oh, okay. The specific tree?
Specific tree.
Oh, okay.
And it is the only guitar that I have that is alder wood.
Okay.
Let's see. Got the maple neck.
What was the pickup in there?
They're Kramer 85Ts.
Okay.
So humbuckers, and so it's
high
like
output or medium?
very So it's like I said, it's kind of a screamer. And I don't know. I end up using this on a lot of different things. This is fairly new for me. So on this tour, I've been starting out the set with it and having it be just kind of this amazing presentation, both sonically and visually. And then the other thing that I've been doing is maybe waiting a little bit to bring it out, because when you walk out on stage, you can see this from the nosebleed section.
I mean, if there's a spot on this guitar, it will...
Yes, absolutely. It is a portable disco ball, pretty much. We bring the party with this, but it's just amazing. So sometimes I will wait for the reveal, and then you see everybody's faces go, "What is that? What is this starfish looking thing?"
What the hell is that type of guitar?
But what the hell is this? Yeah. So it's a Voyager, but it is a slightly pointier, is what they told me, which is why I keep knocking it into things. So far, I have not shipped anything yet, but I feel like that's going to happen in the future.
Oh, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, because I'm I'm an explorer girl,
Yep.
you know, and I've been doing that for years, and this is slightly wider, so I feel a little spatially challenged with this.
But with the Kramer, you can, you know, you can go completely bananas. You can't really do that with Gibson, so it's good that Gibson
Yeah.
asked Kramer for this.
I was very excited about it because, you know, I mean, I love Gibson. They are my absolute family. But now with Kramer being under the umbrella, it gives me all the excuses in the
Yes.
world.
Yeah.
So yes, like I said, I almost feel like like a metal version of Gem and the Holograms.
Okay.
which is something that some young ladies actually told me. Some 11-year-olds had ended up telling me that early on. So which is kind of funny because I didn't know 11-year-olds knew who Gem and the Holograms were anymore.
Oh, okay.
But am I dating myself? I think so. But no, this is an amazing thing, and I think that kind of part of what we were talking about before when we were creating this guitar. Oh, let's not forget about the lightning bolt inlays, which I'm in a band called Halestorm.
Yeah.
You know, so we
course.
started out with the lightning bolt strap that everybody had,
Absolutely.
you know, and now it's on the frets. But I think something that comes with me, again, because I was vocal first, this is the equivalent of, I guess, it goes to 11
Yes.
gear.
No, I can see it.
You know, because even vocally with myself, there are many songs where I'm like, okay, this is the gear that I'm at. I'm
Yeah.
at 11, we're on the top. And so you kind of need something that can compete with that a little bit. So you can beat the hell out of this thing. Obviously, Floyd Rose definitely helps.
Yeah. What
You
are
know.
you using when you're playing live in terms of amplifiers?
I'm a Marshall girl, JCM 800, and I haven't gone digital yet. I've tried it. I've used it in demos.
Yeah.
I've actually used it for layering and for you know, in the studio. There's a lot of really great sounds that you can get with the Kemper, the Axe effects, and all of that. But I haven't transitioned to that live yet.
It's a big step.
Yeah, we're very old school as a band. We don't use tracks. We don't use a click
Yeah.
live. We're even starting to get to the point now where we were just in the recording studio doing some new songs, and there was one of them that the producer was like, no, we shouldn't be using the click on this song
Yeah.
because of the natural ebb and flow. And I think that just comes from years of not doing it live. But yeah, so we literally plug in and we play, and I think that that's a big part of your comfort feel.
Absolutely.
When you can feel the room with your amplifiers and like just through the speakers. That you guys know what I'm talking about. I consider myself a dork, not a nerd. So if I'm glossing over the finer details, it's because, you know, my brain doesn't work that way. I'm like, it's more purple, man. But yeah, so it's more of a feel thing for us. We only, as of I feel like maybe 2011 or 12 finally got into in-ear monitors too.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was a lot later that we weren't
Right.
doing the, you know. So we're a little late to the party. And, you know, it takes a while to get used to, because when you're on stage, you want to be in your happy spot. You don't want to be
absolutely.
thinking too much about
Or
what
hear exactly what you're playing
Well,
in an in-ear.
Okay, that's another thing too. Yeah, if you're hearing yourself way too much, my monitor guy laughed the other day because for both the guitar and my vocals,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, can you just? It's way too upfront. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm hearing too much of me
Yeah.
in the monitor, because I think you have when it's not way up here, when it's
Yeah.
not so clinical, you have a tendency to be a little bit more wild with
course.
it, you know, because
Of
you don't
course.
really know. So
But you become very conscious about it when you hear exactly what's being played. Oh, wow. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
So that's...
Oh, see, that looks great on you.
Oh, drop.
Oh yeah,
C.
sorry. Drop D.
Drop
on
D.
this one, yeah. But we do have drop C. We're so weird. When we first started, we were doing everything down a half step, but standard
Yeah.
down a half step, and then we did drop D down a half step, and now we don't do any of that. Now we have standard, and we have standard drop D, and then we have drop C, drop A, and drop B.
So that's
Which I end up using baritone on most of the drop A
That's a
and
couple
drop
of
B.
guitars that you need to bring.
Oh yeah, it's a few. it's only getting more. In fact, for the Kramer, you know, you always bring one too many guitars, and this is actually already difficult to fit into the vault.
Yes.
So I have to make sure I carry my my case around with me on all of the tours. But oh my gosh, see, just you holding that is now, it's like.
Are you doing any Dimebag squealing? You know, one of these.
Yeah, with some, with the pinch harmonics.
Yes.
And all, yeah.
Good.
Go ahead.
I mean, with what you need, if you have a shape like this, you have a Floyd Rose,
you have to.
Put one of these. You can hear them.
Oh
because
yeah,
they are artificial.
That's awesome. Oh, that's killer. Oh, I love how you're doing that with one finger.
Oh, that's what Dimebag did. He pulled like this, flicked, landed on the harmonic.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you can't hear it because.
Okay. See, I'm learning something new today because I've seen. Obviously, I've seen videos of
a lot of people just drop and.
That's exactly because when I forget who I was watching on YouTube, and they were playing some of, because you know, when I first got the Kramer, I'm like, okay, now I have to like look up how to do this, and so there have been a lot of things that are helpful. But the one, he's like, oh, I'm going to teach you how to do Dimebag's thing. He did it wrong.
Yeah.
You know it's right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude, this is a beautiful guitar. That is great.
Isn't that gorgeous?
It is, really.
You'll poke an eye out, but it will get some attention.
Yeah, wow.
It's awesome.
So what's on the agenda now in terms of, you're touring right now? And
yeah, we're touring right now, and then we're kind of ending out this this Back from the Dead album cycle on this tour, and we end headlining Wembley in the UK. I know, right? Talk about imposter syndrome. Which, ironically, I ended up doing a collaboration.
Sorry, but I'm keeping this.
Oh yes, please.
Would you
like another? The guitar or the pick?
Both. Thank you.
But I ended up doing a collaboration with Sophie Lloyd out of the UK, and we actually wrote a song together called "Imposter Syndrome" about that very same thing.
Right.
We're playing Wembley at the end of this tour, and we're basically getting into the studio, writing some new songs, and ready for whatever the next chapter is. Mm-hmm. So, but we're also remaining really busy, which I think is just the way of the world now.
Yes.
It's not like.
Well, you have to.
It's not like it was in the time before, a couple of years BC before COVID, we were all like, well, there's the album cycle, and then we have time off, and so now we're just kind of doing all of the different things. So it's going to be amazing, though. I feel like we're excited for whatever this new adventure will be, because we're all in this grand state of, gratitude and like appreciation for live music and for why the music moves us. I think that we've all been reminded over the past 6 years of how much it really means to us. I can't tell you, every single night we go on stage, and without fail, maybe the fourth song in, there are at least 6 people in the front row just crying because they're so happy to be there, and you can physically feel that weight being lifted. Yeah. So I'm excited for whatever is next. I've been writing a lot of subject matter that maybe I haven't touched on before. Mm-hmm. Maybe I have, but haven't gone all the way. So yeah, we're going up to 11. Always.
Awesome. What do you do? Okay, so talking about off days, what do you do on an off day? Like at home? Say that you don't have tour?
At home.
Yeah, what's your interest? What do you do?
It's difficult at home because I don't have a whole lot of other hobbies besides music. So and it's hard to shut it off, so I have to force myself to do nothing. Yeah. So whenever we get off tour, I call it the re-entry process. Because now, we are off tour, now we're trying to figure out what to do. Yeah. Because every single day on tour, you have a mission. Yes. And so you get used to that rhythm. So actually doing nothing is very difficult because you have maybe 10% guilt because you want to be moving forward in that progress. But then, the other 90% is burnout, and I really need to do something, so you have to force yourself to do nothing. So I'll do that for maybe the first 2 days, right? Where it's okay, I'm going to find other things to do, whereas I like to paint, so I do a little bit of that. And I love horror movies, so I'll binge like whatever just came out, that I haven't seen in a while, and try to go out and see people I haven't seen. Try to get together with my family. My poor family hasn't seen me in a long time, and then I'm like, okay, enough of that, and I want to sit down and I want to write, or even just sitting down. Not even having a plan, but just I'm going to create something.
Right.
And so I try to do that. And then that usually snowballs into, okay,
it's time to start.
I'm ready for interviews. And then we'll go into like, I'll have many days in a row of just like interview blocks. Yeah. Now everyone does things on Zoom.
Yes.
So it's like I'm in an actual like office, like, okay, next. Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Taking care of business, yeah.
So there's a lot of that. But days off on tour are kind of fun because I'll spend the morning kind of fleshing out some ideas and writing. I'm kind of maniacal now. I have I steal the pad and papers from the hotel rooms because I will wake up in the middle of the night and have, an idea and then have to figure it out in the morning what I wrote because my handwriting is terrible. And so I'll usually have coffee in the morning. I'll start kind of writing something. I'll pick up a guitar, trying not to think too hard about it and just be like, let me see what happens. And then the guys and I will get hungry and we'll go out and we'll look for food. And then we'll usually end up in a place where we meet some crazy strangers, locals, and then I'm the person that is the maniacal eavesdropper. Well, then I will start listening to what everyone is talking about in the bar, and sometimes that will leach itself into the songs. So that's kind of the day off. Yeah. So
that's so smart.
I apologize to anybody if I end up joining their conversation because I've only done that a couple times where I will be at a bar.
What's the effect?
Well, here's the problem with me. I forget that I'm eavesdropping on someone else's conversation and I'm not a part of it.
Oh yeah.
So I'll sit there and I'll be listening, and it's much better when we're in Sweden and they're talking in another language because then I don't I can't get involved. But if you're speaking English, I will think about it and I'll be like, oh, that's so interesting. And then I will have an opinion on it. And so I will accidentally say it out loud. I'm like, oh, that shouldn't have happened. I'm like, wait, I hope they didn't think I was talking to me.
You heard everything.
Oh, he heard it. Yeah, exactly. So I try not to do that. But yes, so I apologize to anyone who realizes that. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's the same as it ever was. I'm still perpetually a teenager inside. And I still love going out on stage. It's kind of like it's like a roller coaster ride. You'd like, as the minutes tick on, okay, 10 minutes till showtime, it's going to happen tonight. Like, okay, there's no way out of it now. You're strapped in, you're on the ride, and then you go over that first drop and you let everything happen. So we still very much enjoy that, and we are so happy to be back in Sweden and touring, and I can't wait to see everybody's faces.
Awesome, thank you so much. That's such a good ending note right there. Lzzy Hale, everyone, thank you so much for coming here. It's been an
thank you so much
pleasure.
for having me, and you look
thanks
great.
for giving me this guitar.
You look great with that guitar.
First premiere of this guitar right here.
The first premiere of the guitar.
We'll see when it goes out.
And you were the first person to hold it besides me.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
That's incredible.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
I have to plug it in. Is it okay if I plug it in later?
Oh, yes, please plug it in.
Well, I'll do it later, okay?
We have to.
Thank you so much, guys. Lzzy Hale.
Yeah.
Let me see. So, you flick it. So, you drop it, which means that you lift it.
Okay.
Lift it. You flick. So the G string on the fifth fret on a G string is the easiest.
Yeah.
So you just flick it.
Okay.
If you flick it, I'll do this. I'll get it.
Like
so I'll drop it and you'll.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's awesome. That's so cool. All right, I'm gonna have to.